Hey guys, my name's Mary Lily.
I'm Marshall.
And I'm Caitlin.
And we're the hosts of Unveiled Opinions.
Three newlywed girlies with a podcast on any and everything wedding related. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. How's it going?
Good.
What's up?
Just living the life over here.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Another Monday in January.
Woo woo.
Ugh. January's such a depressing month.
You guys know I didn't do anything at work today.
Shocking.
If my boss ever listens to this podcast, I'm dead.
Yeah. They're going to start giving you more work
You're going to hope that this podcast takes off.
by the time they listen to
I
it.
was like, I submitted a few pricing requests. I was here.
You better make sure people are subscribing, rating, reviewing so that this can be your
Yes.
full-time gig.
You guys, please, we need money. I'm like been watching a lot of Spencer on TikTok and he just flat
Oh,
out says it. So
he does.
here it goes.
My house didn't burn though.
I know. Let's like take a minute and everyone who's in LA, like that is so terrifying, unfathomable. Like I can't imagine huge
Yeah.
tragedy.
Yeah.
I
So
can't
scary.
imagine. It is nice though, just like the sense of community though, of people coming together. And I mean, I've seen
Heidi Montag's at number one.
I know. I just watched the one where she went clothing shopping at Marshall's. And all these people are like, that's so relatable.
I know. And she's like, Rachel Zoe, you have some good ones. I'm like, not her shading Rachel Zoe actually by saying all your shit's at Marshall's.
I have gotten some cardigans from Rachel Zoe there.
I'm like, slight shade. She's like, Rachel Zoe, you've got great stuff here. I'm like,
Oh
ooh.
my God, stop.
It's like Bryn on the Real Housewives of New York being like, Nordstrom Rack has an awards.
relatable. Relatable.
Yeah, sorry if that's niche.
But yeah, lots of community. And I think that applies to like the bridal space too. I've seen posts and that's like been a theme, I feel like, with all of the like crazy natural disasters that have happened of people like coming together and being
Right.
like, how do we support? Like, what does everybody need?
Yeah, I
So-
saw somebody who, like a bridal shop that was like, if you lost your wedding dress, like call us, we'll help you like work through it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really sweet.
Yeah, and I've seen like lots of like baby companies and stuff too. Like if they're, I don't know, like cribs and stuff were destroyed, they could get new ones for free. They would just send them to them. There's like so
Yeah.
much you have to think about, like that you lost.
But also the other thing is, speaking of vendors and villains, like there's also so many freaking scams when you donate. It's like scary.
I know. That's
Yeah.
why it's
Like
like,
Kim Kardashian posted that it, like an email was sent out looking like it was from Kim Kardashian. Like that's the level.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Like that she had to address it on her Instagram story and I think on TikTok.
Yeah, that's why it's like hard, but you have to, if you're going to share like places to donate, you have to make sure it's legit.
Yeah, really reputable.
Yeah.
But thinking of everyone in California, like devastating, who knows? It's like just like terrifying. But yeah, weddings.
We're thinking of y'all.
Alrighty. So let's kick things off with a question. Are engagement photos a meaningful keepsake or just another line item for the wedding budget? What do y'all think?
I don't think they're another line item, but they might be another Instagram item.
Instagram moment.
Yeah, it's like I have to post my engagement photos. Not only was I proposed to,
But now I have some pretty photos.
yeah, you're like I also felt the need to buy a white outfit as soon as I got engaged, and I decided to make up a reason. No, I'm kidding.
I think it depends on if you want to use them or not. Like if you want
Yeah.
them for your save the dates and stuff, which I didn't use them for that.
Oh
but,
yeah,
but if you know going in that you want to do that, like it's a
Yeah.
necessity.
Yeah, it definitely is like, I can go either way, but
Mhm.
more than 70% of couples take engagement photos these days, but they're not for everyone, and that's okay.
they're
But
not for me. I didn't do them.
70% surprised me. That's high.
Yeah, that is very high.
You guys, whenever we were like traveling or something, we would see all these people taking engagement photos like in the parks. God, when we travel, my husband makes me like bike or scooter everywhere and he like makes us like tour the city. I hate it. But I love him. And so I
Obviously.
do it, but every time we're like in the beautiful place in front of the Eiffel Tower, there's a bunch of people getting
Oh,
their
yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
engagement
Or
pictures
getting
done, blah, blah,
proposed
blah.
to.
Yes. And I always said, like, I'll never make you do that. Or he like said it and I said, I'll never make you do that. And he was like, held me to it.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it. And my wedding was out of town. I don't know why that matters, but like it just what we weren't going to take him. I don't know.
Where you were going to be. Yeah, that's an interesting point too. But that's our kind of debate today is like if you should take them or skip them. And then, some questions on like how to decide if you are on the fence and if you do go for it, like how to pull it off from, as you mentioned, like getting the outfit to the backdrop of like where is like a meaningful place that makes sense to take the photos. So I know we all did kind of different things. So let's just kind of walk through what we did and like what impacted our decision. Marila, you kind of shared.
Yeah. Was
Mhm.
I engaged when I was in Paris? Now I'm like,
No,
or
I
was
don't
I
think
not?
so.
You weren't. You were just still
Still chugging
Just giving
along.
away the milk for
trying to
free.
get that ring. Or were you? Or were you? Because it was
No,
Italy. No, where
no,
were
I
you?
was
No.
engaged
You were
because,
engaged because you came back from and you
yeah,
tried
because
on
I
your
have an
dress.
Yeah.
engagement ring
Yeah.
on at this party of Caitlin's.
Fact check. So, Marshall, what did y'all decide to do as it relates to like engagement photos and like what eventually really like led to that decision?
So originally, I didn't care about engagement photos because
Mhm.
I knew I wasn't going to use it for a save the date, and I just didn't really care about it. But in the package I got with my photographer, it actually came with it. So I like sat on it for a bit, and I was like, I don't
Mhm.
know, maybe Gil didn't really care either way. He doesn't love getting his picture taken, but then we talked about it, and he was like, I would actually like to get more familiar with the photographer before our wedding day.
Yeah.
So that was kind of how we decided, since like essentially I'd already paid for it anyways. And it was nice being able to spend like the whole day with our photographer and like really just like getting a feel for him and his style. And then
I
like
feel like that's like one of the biggest pros of
yeah.
doing engagement
Yeah.
pictures is like
Mhm.
having that like relationship with your photographer.
Yeah. And like it wasn't like a timeline that we cared about because we literally did them like a month before our wedding, because we just were
But
working
it's
with
like a
his
test shoot,
schedule.
like you're a
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
model.
It was like a test shoot. It was really great. I think we used them for Christmas cards that year or something, but it was nice. Honestly, just getting comfortable with the photographer and like the sort of like
Especially for
poses you'll
boys
do.
too.
Yeah. Because Gil, I said that he
Not
felt
us
so,
Instagram
not
models.
us, but we're used to the camera. But yeah, Gil said it was really nice for the wedding day that he knew what to expect because and he just felt really comfortable with Brian too, which was good. So that's how we kind of landed on it.
That's good.
Yeah, no, that was what we did as well. And kind of the same reason is it like was included in our photographer like level that we got.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be able to like get a sense of her style because we did
Mhm.
want something kind of specific
Mhm.
at the onset of working with her. And so it was like, okay, like how are you actually going to capture that kind of?
Yeah.
My mom was like, "Oh, like you'll use it, pay like she was like, use one for your thing." And
Mhm.
it was like the decision was kind of made for me, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, whatever."
Sure, why not?
And
I
it,
completely forgot you did that, clearly.
yeah, I feel like it worked though because it like still was able to have we chose like a more formal picture, and so it like matched because it was a more formal event.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
it does.
Yeah. So if you're going to get like use your pictures, make sure it kind of matches the aesthetic of the like
Mhm.
wedding.
Yeah. And Mary Lou, y'all decided not to. Anything else like
Yeah. Matthew like doesn't mind taking pictures or being the center of attention after a few drinks. He's been in a lot of weddings. I feel like he
Mhm.
knew the like pose. It's all the siblings, he was the last
Yeah.
sibling to get married. So I feel like, and he started bossing the photographer around, which was so annoying. But we we used ours instead for the rehearsal dinner or whatever.
Mhm.
And that was nice because we did like walked around with her for a little bit and like just the two of us and kind of got to know her. So then the next day it really did kind of seamlessly go. But I also, she was one of my great vendors that when I started like emailing people, she was just always so great. I think I mentioned it on our previous episode, vendor villain. But she like really
Not
got
a
to know
villain.
us. Yeah, she was not a villain. She was literally the cutest, sweetest person ever.
She was super
Yeah,
cute.
she was super good.
She had literally made all my bridesmaids when we were doing our pictures say their favorite thing about me. And like that, she didn't even know that that's my
That was the
favorite
most
thing
that
to
was your
make
favorite part of the whole
other
thing.
people do.
Yeah, that was the highlight of the day for you.
Yeah. She has no idea that I go to dinner with my friends and say, everyone say your favorite thing about me once a year.
Yeah, she read the room.
She got the
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is something that's like, I think really personal. And if you are on the fence, like, how do you, like, I think it is important to consider and like decide if it is worth it to you. And so I feel like there's a few questions that you can kind of ask yourself of like how to prepare.
Mhm.
Marshall, you touched on one of them of like, okay, like, what is your goal? Like, what are you going to use these for? Is it
Right.
save the dates? Like, is it for the
Or
website?
is it to get to know your photographer? Just, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Or you're going to use it as your Christmas card shoot because it just works out that way.
Yeah. Or is it like it's really just for Instagram?
Which is a valid point.
No, but
Yeah.
seriously, especially if you're like making money
Or want to, you know.
on Instagram, like pay us.
Oh, you're making. I was like, what? Yeah, I mean, if you're an influencer,
I'm sure someone's paying you to get engagement photos taken. So
Yeah.
listen up.
And it can be like if it like it can just be something fun to do together also.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun thing to trick your husband into doing. Caitlin got wasted or drunk. I mean,
Yeah.
Caitlin got a little drunk.
We
got a
went
little
out before
buzzed.
ours, yeah. Because I mean, you don't want to like
Be
hop into
sober.
it sober. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
think we went to brunch before, so
Like that's perfect. Like
Mhm.
have a few
Yeah.
mimosas.
yeah, just to
Giggle.
calm down.
Yeah. Loosen up a
Caitlin was
little
like,
bit.
I'm going to actually shoot mine in a bar so I can drink.
We did.
I like the bar ones. I think they're cute.
Yeah. It was, and it's like one of our favorite places.
Yeah.
And then there's also what we talked about is like another question to ask yourself is like, how important is the visual keepsake to you?
Mm-hmm.
Of like, what will you do with these photos? Like, you get so many photos from the wedding itself.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it like, do you already have a ton of photos? Do you feel like this is like really necessary to fill in a gap?
Right. I still haven't done the wedding albums that I'm supposed to, but
I
that
know,
was
I'm
Matthew's
stressed.
Christmas gift. Matthew said I couldn't buy him a Christmas gift. I was like, okay, I'll do our wedding albums.
Like, that's
Didn't do them.
I haven't done it either.
Thankfully, my photographer did them because I would have never.
Ours was so expensive through our photographer, which is something to keep in mind.
That is true. It was just part like whatever the tier. I think I got like the top one, and it just included all of this stuff. And I was like, oh, well, that's actually. And the only reason I went with that one is because I wanted two photographers and him to be there
Yeah.
the like whole day and the rehearsal dinner. It was more of a
I
timing
was just
thing.
like, someone needed to get my ass.
It was a timing thing, but then I was like, it came with all this other stuff. So
Yeah. Well,
I
that's
didn't
what
come with it. I
ours,
paid for it, but still.
our photography package came with a wedding album,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like the most basic one.
We didn't have packages. I
Really?
think I just did my photographer by hour, or was by hour.
Some
She
are
was
like
just
that,
like, you'll
yeah.
just need this many hours. And she was like, my husband just needs to come for a little. And it was literally her husband.
I think that's what it was for Canty when I like hired, because I like got all of her vendors for her. Hers
Marshall's
was
a wedding planner. Kidding.
yeah, I just do that on the side, unpaid, and but hers was by the hour, which
Yeah.
honestly makes it easy.
Yeah, that is
Yeah, it
easy.
was easy. I don't think there were packages. But then, like, my mom and I literally couldn't figure out how to make an album on the website. Like, it was too confusing. I was like, Mom, I'm sorry. Just do it the old fashioned way.
Just print them out and stick them in a book.
I bought a set of albums that's like
Mhm.
one's like your bachelorette party. Have you seen those? It's called,
Yeah.
it's by like Ceremony Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just bought those, but I just haven't printed the picture.
Yeah. Well,
So you've halfway done it.
yeah. So
Merry Christmas.
that's another thing is like how for your engagement photos, like how do you want to like keep them and store them?
Are you like Heidi and Spencer? Do you want to hang portraits of yourselves in your house,
Yeah.
like giant, you know?
Yeah.
That's
And
giving Sheena
then
Shea from
Yeah, or like
Vanderpump.
Sheena Shea.
Except that marriage failed, so maybe not.
don't do that.
Don't do
Don't do that.
don't do it.
And then there's kind of the budget piece as well. If you were like on the fence, what questions would y'all kind of ask yourself about budget to decide if it was like, should you do it? Should you not do it?
Okay, well, I think like don't overspend on your wedding.
Yeah.
Number one, it's like a great, huge day and super fun, but like don't go into debt over it. But also like try and find someone that you like and like talk to them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you like a certain style of photo, I think do your research to like, you know, find a photographer in your budget that can do that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be your wedding photographer either. Like I know people who
It's a good
got
point.
engagement photos done in Charlotte and they didn't get married in Charlotte and they just did like a local Charlotte photographer and went to like a park or something.
Literally, you guys, I had a fake photo shoot one time and Jacqueline took the pictures and did my makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just if you have a friend that's like just handy with
Decent
that sort of
enough.
stuff. Yeah.
You
Oh my
could
God,
do
we
that.
had a photo shoot for this podcast.
Yeah.
And we just
Yeah.
sent my friend Alexis to it, and she is like has
She
a
has a
nice
nice
camera,
camera.
and his photography's her hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they turned
So-
out great.
That's a good point. Is like you can always, if it's not a part of your budget or if it's not like included in anything that is already, you know, you're purchasing from your photographer, then like you can find somebody and you can still make it an experience.
Like everybody fucking fancies themselves an amateur photographer these days with Instagram.
Yeah.
You can find somebody.
and like you have apps and stuff you can edit and get that look you want. So
You
Yeah.
could AI them at this point. I
You
AI
probably
what me
could.
and Matthew's kids are going to look like all
Oh
the time.
God.
oh my gosh, I've actually heard that's really accurate.
You have? Why didn't you
Yeah.
ever tell me? You know I do that.
Well, I forgot. I don't like keep that at the forefront of my mind.
Oh my
Like,
God.
guys, I went in my attic, my parents' house this weekend because dry January, like what else
You're
is there
bored.
to do? And I found another one of my journals. I have all these journals where
I
I
have
literally
so
would
many.
shit talk in them so much. And I open it and the note is Friday is April Fool's exclamation.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I've always been obsessed with just like pranking people and being like a little bitch.
Like a little menace.
Yeah.
But yeah, do some AI if you want
Yeah,
to.
do some AI. But then also like if you're like not totally convinced that you want to do them, it is an easy way to save money. Of
It
like,
is.
Nope.
I would
And you
wouldn't
can
break the
spend that
bank on it.
money elsewhere. Of like if
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
Because I feel like also when you're thinking about engagement photos, it's like really kind of early in the whole
Yeah.
process. And you don't fully understand how much everything costs for the wedding. Like I was in like a little bubble of delusion at that point and thought that I just was made of money. But, you know, like don't spend a ton of money if you don't have it on engagement photos. Like save that for the actual day.
No, you
when
guys,
you're gonna
like,
have to
I
like
would like mention doing stuff to my dad, and he'd be like, "Who's paying for it?" I'd be like, "I'd pay for it," and he'd go, "With what?" money?" Like my dad checked me so many times. Thank God.
I was having to check my parents. Like I was having to be like, no, we're not adding that. That's
we're not
stupid.
doing that.
We're not doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So if you're on the fence, it comes down to like your priorities and just remember that there's like no wrong choice.
Matthew would be like,
Exactly.
the two people that care about you the most are asking you to calm down.
So do it.
Yeah. a good sign to listen. Okay, so let's say you've decided to go for it. That kind of brings us to the next topic of like, what do you wear? Which, you
I
know,
love
it's
this question.
yeah, it's fun to like buy a new outfit.
Well, you're
Mhm.
dying to wear white when you get
Yeah.
engaged. You were like, should I wear white to every event so everyone knows? Like, ask me.
As if they didn't already know when they got the invitation to all your events that you're the bride.
And then
Exactly.
look at me. I've never wore white. So I was like, I need to be different.
Yeah, so it is really kicking off your bridal era of, you know, wearing white, getting outfits, and that can be kind of a lot in of itself. I mean, I got like a spray tan. Like it's like shit.
Right.
It does add up outside of like just the cost of engagement photos.
And there are actually so many cool styling places out there. I'll just plug two. There's Styled by Virginia. She's from Augusta. She does bridal styling. She's actually styling, like, I think Sally on Southern Charm this season. And then Wedding Wardrobe, I think it's called My Wedding Wardrobe, is a really cool one where they like help you get styled for your wedding. But it's like a big deal, and they'll help you with engagement photos. And you know what I mean? I think there are really good resources out there if you're overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can also, I mean, Pinterest is always a good one too. My photographer told me that usually he does 2 outfits.
He told you what? Wear a Ralph Lauren white shirt and blue jeans.
No. He was telling me, because I was like, how many outfits and stuff like that. He said that he typically has his brides have 2 outfits.
Yeah.
And the first one is the more like formal one. And that's the one you're going to be in for longer. So you'll have more pictures with your first outfit than your second.
Oh,
and he said that a lot of photographers do it like that. Like obviously not all of them, but that is, so I wore like a white little 2-piece for the first half, I guess 3/4 of it. And then I changed in a car downtown Charleston, and then did my little like blue and white dress. And that was just like the ending of it. But it was like more of like a flirty look, less formal.
Well, that's like, okay, so if you're starting out, like how would you start? I feel like it's like kind of figuring out what you want your vibe to be. I think 2 outfits, that's a good tip. That was what we were told also. But how would you kind of like suggest somebody go about like finding out like what to wear and like what they want the vibe to be?
Well, I think it all goes back to like, what's your end goal with getting these photos? You know what I mean? Is your end goal to use them on a save the date? You know what I mean? Like,
But also, Caitlin, like what you were saying before, how like you had like formal ones because it was like for a formal event. Like I didn't wear like jeans and sneakers because I am not really that type of person anyways. But also like I just want it to be a little more, I guess, fancy to go with the event. That's you're essentially like pre-gaming for.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like good to like, you still want to be comfortable.
What if you spilled on it at brunch, Marsh?
I didn't wear that to brunch.
Okay.
You still want to be comfortable and like it be like, it not like you're like totally.
Oh yeah.
You like never dress up. Then like putting on like a really formal outfit may look a little weird, but it is like, it's your wedding. It's a time to be like elevated for sure.
Or if you want to be goofy or silly or like like if it's in a fun place and you like take them at the beach. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Like it depends on
play
like
on
the
themes.
setting of it too. Like I've seen some where people have done them at like arcades before, or like, like the bar like scene, which I mean, I feel like bars and like speakeasies, they can all be like different vibes. But I do feel like it does depend on the setting. Like, if you're on the beach, like you're probably not wearing shoes anyways.
Jacqueline's did like cool ones where she wore like a sequin, like really long dress on the beach. And it was kind of like, she was having her wedding in Charleston. So I feel like, you know what I mean, represented it.
Blended the two.
Yeah.
So where are you like taking photos? And like, how do you have, as you said, the outfit kind of complement the backdrop?
Right.
I don't know, Caitlin, you had venues. How did you decide?
What do you mean venues?
Like the setting for your engagement photos?
Setting.
Yeah.
Hello.
We wanted somewhere meaningful of like relevant to us. Like it wasn't like it was like, let's just pick like some random like park.
Yeah.
And so we did downtown Belmont, which is like close to where we live.
Oh my God. And look, how did it take us this long to notice? One of your engagement photos is behind you.
Yeah. That's from in front of City Hall.
Downtown Belmont's so cute too.
Yeah. So our photographer, she kind of helped, like we told her the area and whatnot, and she picked, some different ideas of where we should go and whatnot, which made it really helpful.
Yeah. And Belmont, for everyone who doesn't know, is like a small town outside of Charlotte where Caitlin and Kyle's romance blossomed, where they first lived together and still live now, actually.
Yeah. That's where they live.
It is.
It's where your home is.
Thanks, Mary Lily. Thanks for the Belmont.
The Belmont plug.
Okay.
Well, just like explaining to everyone, because you're like just You know what I mean? Whatever.
So, what's some advice on how they should like go about finding a venue and where to take pictures?
Well, I knew for me that I didn't want to take mine in Polly's, which is where I got married, because I was like, I'm going to have so many photos from
Yeah.
that day of just all like Polly's plantation, everything where I got married. I was like, I kind of want it to be different. So that's like one of the ways we decided. Also, ours got rained out the first time. We were supposed to do them in
Oh,
Charlotte.
really?
Yeah, we were supposed to do them in Charlotte because our photographer, he lives in Charleston, but he was coming to Charlotte for an art show or something. So we had it planned out, and we were going to do like Uptown Charlotte, since like we live over here and everything. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's where all of our like dates were when we first started dating. So that was like kind of, I guess, where we like met and like our story
Meaningful.
began. Then it got rained out. So we had to reschedule, and we decided to just go with Charleston because we were going
Gil
to
did
visit.
grow up there.
Yeah, and we were going to visit his parents anyways. So I was like, we're headed down anyways this weekend. Do you have any openings? And he was like, yeah, that's perfect. So I told him I wanted to do downtown, but I didn't want to do like in front of the pineapple fountain or anything like
Oh my
that.
God.
Yeah, you didn't want
I
to do
was
any
like-
of the landmarks.
Yeah, I was like, no shade to anyone who does that, but like I
Yeah.
have pictures in front of that from when I was like 5. Like that's, just nothing that says like super like downtown, just like.
Yeah.
So he was like, I have some great little side streets that I usually take the pictures. So I just kind of like left it up to him
Yeah.
and like let him have at it.
How, like, Marshall, you were not in a rush of like,
Right.
okay, let's do this. But if
Mhm.
you were, what
Mhm.
impact, if any, do you feel like this season would have had on like if you wanted more like outdoor photos, indoor photos, or would it
Honestly,
feel like it would not have mattered?
if I'd wanted some like to do it in the summer, I probably would have chosen an indoor
Yeah.
venue or just had like indoor outdoor, just because it's so incredibly hot down here in Charlotte and in Charleston that like Gil's a sweater. He'll like just go ahead and say that he sweats a lot.
Glistens.
So he actually requested for our wedding to not be in the summer and for no photos to be taken in the summer, because that's like you're walking a lot. Like at least we
Yeah,
were, because we were, downtown, and you're walking a lot. So it's like I think I was getting hot anyways, and it was like October. So that's just something that to me.
Yeah. And you're just like winded.
You are. And like then
Yeah.
you're like, how do I get this look off my face before he like shoots the camera at me?
Yeah.
So that's just something to keep in mind.
No, that's a good point. Ours were in like January or February. And so it was colder. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's part of the reason that we did like more of them inside. It was like a mild day, thankfully. But I guess,
You don't want to get rosy cheeks too.
yeah. And so it wasn't like frigid, thankfully. It was like fine to like be out without like a full jacket for a couple
that's
minutes.
good.
Ooh.
But yeah, definitely. If it was like freezing, that would
Because
have
it's
been a
hard to
different story.
keep that off your face too, that you're
Yeah.
cold and miserable.
Yeah.
At
That's
least
like
for
for
me.
real models.
Yeah.
And we're paying the photographer for this. They're not paying us. So.
Okay, well, for our game today, we're gonna play to snap or pass. So snap would be go for it, or wait, to snap or skip. To snap or
Okay.
skip.
Snap or
Snap
skip.
is like go for it, like yes, you would do that, or skip pass is like skip.
Got it.
Would not do
No
that.
go.
Okay, pass and skip are the same
Pass.
thing. Got it.
Snap or pass.
Got it.
Mhm.
Okay. Would you snap or skip recreating your first date at a fast food restaurant complete with fries and soda?
Yeah, I think it's kind of
If
cute.
that's your first date,
It was your
if that's
first
where
date.
it was. I mean,
Yeah.
Ours was in a bar, so it's not like
yeah,
it's
like I would
anything.
never want pictures of me. Actually, there are a million pictures of me at Moosehead on the internet. So, and that's where I met Matthew.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of cute. I've seen some
So,
where
yeah,
that's like
I
been done
would
at like
snap.
Waffle House.
Yeah, I've seen the
before,
Waffle House
and it looks
one.
like if they
Matthew
can make it
wishes
retro.
I would do that.
Yeah.
I think it's cute.
You guys,
Yeah.
Maddie's obsessed with Waffle House. Like he wants to eat it like every day. I don't know why he thinks it like it's kind of healthy or something. It disgusts me how much he likes it. Like I get it. It's like cool for some people. Ugh, I hate it. It's because Matthew always wants me to go there. Sorry.
But for pictures, I think it's fine.
Maybe we could cut that.
Okay, so next one. If you didn't have a nice photographer like Marshall and you had bad weather and it was raining and you didn't reschedule, would you snap or skip if y'all sharing an umbrella in the rain and like kind of like cozying up and like more of that rainy?
Snap. I think it's
I
iconic.
think snap. Because actually, my photographer, I looked at some of his pictures of like sessions before, and there was one that there was rain, but there was like a torrential, like a hurricane.
Umbrellas.
There was a hurricane when it was like for me, but
Excuses.
well, no,
Marshall.
like the ones they did was super
It
cute,
would've
and it
been
was raining,
beautiful.
and then they like jumped in the pool, and they were like it was like really cute.
That's
Yeah,
intense.
it was like a lot, but it was
Yeah.
like it was a cute
In
vibe.
white?
No, she didn't wear white. It was like blue or something.
I was going to say.
But no.
Risque.
Yes.
I think if you have like the right, like if the right attitude for it and like,
Yeah.
you know, if everything's kind of lining up and you're open
If it's not
and
like
it's a good
freezing
photographer,
rain.
yeah, then I think it's kind of like cool and different than like what everyone else is doing.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like if your wedding day happens to be a rainy day, like it's good luck, right?
Yeah. That's what they say.
So if your engagement photos are rainy, go for it.
Sweet.
Okay.
Unless you're Marshall. Bail.
Last one. Snap or skip. Snowy mountain engagement photos in full ski gear, goggles and all.
Snap.
Yeah.
I think it's
snap.
cute.
Paris
Really?
Hilton did it. Iconic.
With like moon boots and stuff. I just think
Yeah.
it's cute.
Different.
Especially if you know. Julia
Seasonal.
did that too.
Yeah.
Me dropping Paris Hilton before my
You're like,
I'm
actually
a
have a friend
bridesmaid
who
in the
did that.
wedding.
Yeah, I think it's cute, especially if that's like goes with how you and like your significant other, like if y'all are really big into skiing and stuff
Oh
like
my God,
that.
they
like,
are.
Yeah. So I just think
Yeah.
if it goes with your like vibe as a couple, like,
Personality.
And Julia
yeah.
was shocked. I like don't know that, but she said she was shocked, which I love.
Are you talking about for the proposal?
Yeah, when he proposed
Yeah.
on the mountain.
Yeah. Well, that's a wrap. So ultimately, engagement photos, like the choice is definitely yours. But hopefully, we've given you some helpful tips to make the decision easier.
And if you liked it, please follow, subscribe, like at Unveiled Opinions, write a review.
Until next time.
Thanks.
Bye.
God.